Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Salem. And tonight in beautiful Salem we have a work crew out in the street who are working to repair something or another and have been for several hours, and I suspect will be for several hours. So you will hear them in the background of this vlog, and hopefully they will not disturb our conversation. And our question tonight comes to us from Higher Architect, who asks about the use of psychoactive substances in the magical and Wiccan community. And of course, as many questions that come to us at the vlog, this is a complicated one that does not really admit of a single answer. And the reason for that is that within the magical community, there are many, many different branches, many different traditions, many different movements that have different points of view on this and many other subjects. Therefore, for many questions, there is no single answer. In this case, I can give you my personal opinion. I can tell you how most of the larger traditions feel about it, and I can also tell you other attendant facts. And I'll start with that and point out that there are many branches of metaphysics where psychoactive substances have a historical role, particularly certain kinds of shamanism, where a variety of substances, of which the most famous is probably the peyote mushroom, but also in Europe things like mugwort, have historically been used to induce trance, to expand the consciousness, to help with the shift in consciousness from which magic is worked. So there is absolutely a history of such use, and there are certainly people who use it that way today. Now, my personal opinion is that this is not a good thing to do, unless perhaps you're in those particular branches, which I am not. But in my understanding of magic, I find it personally a much better idea to develop the ability to go into trance, to open to spirit, to expand your consciousness, etc., in a very natural way that you can call upon at will without needing anything external to yourself. And I believe this to be the case not only with psychoactive substances, but also with things like ritual tools, planetary alignments, etc. Many of the things that people use to help them to do magic, I think it's a very bad idea to be dependent on these things. Therefore, when it comes to something like psychoactive substances, I think that using them even to learn to do these things is probably a bad idea, because then you become dependent on something outside yourself. And when you're dependent on something outside of yourself to work magic, well then if you need that magic in an emergency, you can't do it, because you will not necessarily have those things handy. My preferred example of that kind of an emergency is if you're about to get in a car accident. You may very well want to call upon magic, but if you need something outside of yourself, whether it's ritual tools or the right planetary alignment or some kind of psychoactive something, well then you're out of luck, aren't you? Because you're unlikely to have it there or to have the time to use it. What you need to do is to be able to call upon magic naturally and in the very short time that you have available in an emergency situation. Therefore, I personally encourage people to learn how to do these things in natural processes that they have complete control over, that are inaugurated at will, can also be ended at will, and are dependent on nothing outside the self. To me, probably the single most dangerous aspect of using psychoactive substances for magical purposes is that even if, as people sometimes claim, they can help you to go into that trance or make that shift of consciousness, you cannot just stop it. Whereas if you're doing it naturally, it can be hard to come out of a trance suddenly, but you can absolutely do it if you need to. And again, there are occasions when you may need to. So that's my personal opinion. And then finally, the community opinion, I think you'll find the majority of the community will say the same thing. That they really do not regard it as a good idea, although certainly there are many people who do it. And I think you would find that most of the larger traditions do not consider it to be the thing that you ought to do. And certainly most public gatherings have rules against it. So I hope that answers your question. And again, of course, there is no single answer, but my personal opinion is that it's much better to be autonomous in how you do your magic, meaning that it comes from within and is under your conscious control when you need to call upon it. So, until next time, may you blessed be. And check out my new subscription site, thedailyspell.com. For 12 years now, we've been sending out the Daily Spell easy and free of charge to literally thousands of people, and will continue to do so. Thedailyspell.com is a subscription site meant to augment that daily service with deeper stories, deeper news, videos, entertainment, information, many daily features such as Marianne's Mystic Gem of the Day, the daily tarot card, the daily bio, and many more things. So check it out. Subscriptions are $19.99, and until next time, may you blessed be.